Welcome, cadets, to your training video in mapping and coordinates. Prepare for an incoming transmission from your space captain. Here is a list of terminology that will be used frequently throughout our Galaxy Quest. It is important to familiarise yourself with the terminology and their meanings to increase your understanding about mapping and coordinates as a concept. Map, a visual representation of data. Symbol, a thing that represents or stands for something else. Key, an explanatory table of symbols used to assist the reader of a map. Title, the name given to a particular map. Coordinate plane, a graph that shows a horizontal and vertical number line that intersect at a point of origin. Coordinate, a group of numbers used to indicate the position of a point, line, or plane. X-axis, the horizontal value in a pair of coordinates that indicate how far along the point is. Y-axis, the vertical value in a pair of coordinates that indicate how far up or down the point is. Origin, the beginning point of a map, represented as 0, 0. Grid reference, indicates the location in terms of X and Y and is generally identified through numbers or letters. Plot, a mark given to represent the coordinate intersection. Early civilizations relied on visual and verbal histories to help create illustrations of their surroundings, called maps. Some civilizations relied on the positioning of the stars to indicate to traveller how far they had progressed on their journey. The production of the magnetic compass during the Age of Exploration in the 15th to 17th century changed methods in which the world's people could understand location and coordinates. The study and practice of generating maps is called cartography. Thinking about our ancient world peoples and their understanding of location, geography, and positioning, could you use a telescope? Could you use the stars to find your way home? Could you accurately tell somebody else how to get to your house without showing them a map? As we stated, because ancient civilizations relied on the visual and verbal histories, their maps do not resemble what we were familiar with in the 21st century. Here is an example of a world map taken from 1587. Does it look familiar? Is there anything at all that resembles what we know our world to be today? Here is another from the 1700s. Does this resemble geographic locations like we remember? Does this look like the world we encounter daily? Advancements in technology have revolutionized the way we interact with maps. The way we create, interpret, and consume maps has all been adjusted with the use of technology. In our contemporary world, you can have access to maps with your phone, in your car, and receive satellite images to your television. Technology has allowed us to experience maps and understand the world around us like never before. In the 21st century, we can sit behind a keyboard and find the weather in France. We can map how many natural disasters occurred in China and interpret map data about the economic growth of Greece. Today's mapping and mapping equipment allows us to have current, accurate, and immediate interactions with maps. Consider train schedules, meteorological organisations producing current weather radars, using Google Street View to find both our destination and calculate the easiest route and fastest time to arrive at our destination. Why is it important to use maps? Well, in this context, we are using maps to describe spatial relationships and interpret distances, but consider mapping as a systematic representation of data that organises and clarifies. Suddenly, this notion becomes a lot more world-friendly. When reading maps, we can see here in this example, this is a map showing geographical location. We can see symbols and indicators that show us spatial relationships to various destinations, routes, or positions. This map provides us with an example of a title, A, shown as the name of the map, a compass, denoted by B, showing us the orientation of direction, C, showing us a legend or a key of symbols to help me, or you, as the reader, organise my thoughts about the map, and D, the map itself, a visual representation of data. As I've already said, an example of geographic spatial relationships. The coordinate plane shows us two intersecting lines that denote the space or area in which destinations are available and positions able to be coordinated. The coordinate plane is made up of one vertical line and one horizontal line. The X and Y axis is the formal name for the intersecting lines we saw on the coordinate plane. The X and Y axis give us, as creators of maps, an initial starting point because when plotting coordinates we always start with the X axis to find our coordinates and then follow with Y. If you're having trouble remembering what comes first, X or Y, try remember this nifty trick. Just think of Beyonce. He always said that the X goes to the left, and that when we think about Y rhymes with sky, so Y points to the sky. An ordered pair refers to a specialized order of numbers to give our positions or coordinates value. Within an ordered pair, we write our coordinates bracket, X, comma, Y, bracket. Because, that's right, the X value always goes first. When plotting coordinates, we have all of our information already about coordinate planes being our space to occupy coordinates. We have our X and Y axis to determine positioning. Now all we need is our coordinate. In this example, we see 2, 3. We already know that we start with the Y axis first, so that must be 2. We put our finger or ruler on the number 2 and look for our coordinate, which notes that the Y axis, of course, comes next. So we look across to the Y, or the vertical line, and we see our finger or our ruler again on the number 3. And we join these 2 points up, and where they meet, we plot a point, and that is called a coordinate. Pretty easy, right? If that all seemed like a lot to take in, don't worry, cadets. You'll be given plenty of opportunities to develop, practice, and refine your skills in mapping and coordinates. Thank you for watching, cadets. Stand by for end transmission.